Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's NAMM time. I can't believe it's been a year already since the big announcement of the Gibson Original Collection. So for today's video, we're going to go over the Gibson, Epiphone, and Kramers lineup that they just released. And then tomorrow we're going to cover the Fenders, and if I'm being honest here, the Fenders have me more excited. So let's dig in. From the Gibson side of things, there were about 6 things that really stood out for me. Let's start with the new 70s inspired Flying V's and Explorers. These were actually leaked about a week before the NAMM show. But now that I'm actually seeing these things up close, I'm rather disappointed that they're calling these a 70s style Flying V and Explorer. And the reason why I'm saying that is while yes, they do have the pickup rings surrounding on the pickguard, kind of going for the KK Downing type thing from Judas Priest. And they've got the return of the full pickguard as well as the traditional looking headstock style. Honestly, I'm not sure what they were thinking with the original collection Flying V. This is definitely something that is more traditional and I applaud them for that. But my issue with this model is it's called a 70s Flying V, but they're missing one huge characteristic. There's no volute on the back of the headstock. I can get over the fact this has the more pointy headstock instead of the rounded one. It's got the wrong tuners, but no volute? Come on! The other spec that they got wrong is it has a Nashville style bridge right here. That is also incorrect for a 70s style Flying V. And they're doing those faux ABR ones anyways, so I don't see why these did not get them. And the other thing that has me quite upset here, look at this price tag. Almost $2,000 now. The only difference that I'm really seeing here is the new 70s one has binding along the fretboard, but it saves money because it doesn't utilize a mother of pearl headstock logo. It just has a giant truss rod cover. $19.99 for a Flying V kind of shies me away when it doesn't have all these small details right on it. But if you don't care about binding and a gloss finish, you're much better off going with the used faded series Flying V, because they're very similar to that. Even a regular 67 reissue style V, all you'd have to do is add the pickup rings to it. So I don't see these being a hot seller, but they certainly have a cool look to them. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Explorer one too. It looks like this one has the same Nashville style bridge, and it's a little bit easier to see the binding on the neck with this one. As compared to the original collection Explorer, it comes down to the binding again. Even though, just like the Flying V, 70s Explorers did not have binding. It's unnecessary cost and Gibson messes up the binding half the time anyway. Everything else is pretty much the same, except for the pickups. You actually don't even have covers over these 70s inspired pups this time. And both the Explorer and V are only available in white. And no need to get upset with the Explorers not having the volute because, fun fact, the 70s Explorers didn't have them, which is something I've never really thought about before. So let me know if you're interested in seeing one of these for a full review and demo. I'm kinda leaning towards the Explorer on this one, but now that I've looked at the Flying V a bit more, I might have to go for that one. The next one we can talk about here is a new Gibson collection of original acoustics. Now, I'm not going to tell you I know a lot about Gibson acoustics, so let's just take a look at these real quick. So it looks like we have a Gibson LOO in 2 different body styles, Dreadnought and this kind of parlor-shaped guitar. And then we have a 50s LG2 with the Super Jumbo 200 and the Hummingbird Studio. Mark Agnesi was explaining in this video that they basically just took the concept of what they did for the electric guitars last year and transformed it over into the acoustic side of things. And some of those guitars are pretty darn cool. I don't review acoustics, but the pre-war SJ200, oh, that's a nice guitar. In this finish, because it's just beautiful. Mustache bridge and all. And it appears these are around $4,500, a little bit more if you want the antique natural finish. Next up is one that kind of surprised me, but makes a lot of sense financially for Gibson. They've introduced something that they're calling the Gibson Les Paul Special Tribute Humbucker, as well as the P90 version. And they are very appropriately priced at only $1,000, which seems to be a really great deal for a USA-made Gibson with a satin finish. In fact, you can see there's quite a few of them available online that will ship today or very soon. You can find them in a black, cherry, walnut, and a white finish with both the P90 and humbucker options. If I do a review on one of these, it's probably going to be this white one right here. I might go with the humbuckers this time because I did a review of a very similar guitar last year, and I called it the best new Gibson of 2019. It was a Guitar Center limited edition exclusive that had P90 pickups, a full gloss finish, and it was only $1,000 too. So when I saw these guys being released, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. They took Guitar Center's idea and just made it available to all the dealers. But the difference this time is we're getting a satin finish, and these ones actually have maple necks, which is kind of a curious spec, but I like it at the same time. And this new series has the correct wraparound tailpiece. And it appears we're still getting a gig bag with these. So in comparison, it seems like these are not as good of a deal as those. They're just available at all dealers in a few more finishes. Unfortunately, they did not bring out my 3 pickup double cut junior yet though. Next up is one that we actually already talked about a couple of days ago, the Slash collection. 6 brand new Slash guitars, and there are a few of them ready to be shipped out if you check on Reverb right now, but they probably won't last that long. So the official price on these guys is $3,000. We were talking in euros last time. That's because it had the value added tax already built into the price, so that's why it kind of just evened out for everything. So that's exactly where I thought these things should have been priced with the Slash affiliation. Now there's been a few demos of these done by other music retailers, and I've got to say, not impressed with the way they sound. Maybe it's just a bad amp setting or something, or maybe the new pickups just aren't as fantastic as we were hoping for. But so far, not in love with it, but I definitely need to get one of these in to feel how it plays. And now we can finally see what the Scully looks like on the back of the headstock. Kind of what I was expecting. I almost would have preferred a golden one though, because then it wouldn't stick out quite as much. And honestly, I'm not digging the vermilion burst as much anymore now that I've seen it in these type of photography settings. I was hoping it would be more of a dark black border. That's probably the one I'm still gonna get, but I think November burst is the most beautiful of the 4. But at the same time, it's a little bit more traditional looking too. But you can find them in Vermilion Burst, November Burst, Appetite Burst, and Anaconda Burst, which I have not seen listed online yet, except for a pre-order right here. A signature artist model that was leaked a few days earlier prior to NAMM is the Tony Iommi Monkey SG. I'm really pumped for this. Apparently they're only making 25 of them in a left-handed and a right-handed format, so that means 50 in total. In this interview, Cesar said it was being sold in a set, so you might have to buy both. I don't know. I'm going to try my best to get my hands on one of these. What makes me even more excited for this one is the fact that it has a rosewood fretboard that's been lacquered over. That's something I've been kind of wanting to try and see from a stock Gibson standpoint. So it's probably going to be like $10,000 plus, but I'm going to try my best for a full review and demo. I was also happy to see that Dreamweaver made its way to the NAMM show. I actually did an interview with the custom shop employee that built it, so you can check out this video right here to learn more and see more about that guitar. I have some behind the scenes shots in that one. Looks like we've got some cool custom shop SGs. I really like the look of this Firebird wall. It's like all the custom colors. Then there were a few other art style guitars. There were a few cool looking Flying V's as well. That kind of had that age distress look with just a single P90. And they also released the 60th anniversary of the 1960 Les Paul. At this point in time, it appears that they're doing 3 versions to it, and that just kind of depends on what type of 60 you want. Do you want a super early 60 that kind of still has some 59 specs to it? Or do you prefer the ones that are more tomato soup in color? They got the clown burst kind of going on because they changed the dyes that they used. For me, I'm digging version 3. I think that color just looks the best, and apparently all the dealers want that one as well. So that's going to do it for the Gibson side of things. Let's go ahead and switch over to Epiphone. Epiphone really stole the show at this one. The Gibson offerings, yeah, they're cool, but there was nothing that's mind-blowing like it was last year. So first off, the biggest news is they've changed the headstock from Epiphones. It used to look like this, and now it's going to look like this, the old Kalamazoo style. People were super excited over this. I think it makes the guitars look a little bit better and plays off of Epiphone's heritage. It feels like they're really trying to revive this brand as its own separate identity, as well as a brother to Gibson. Because that leads us to our next point here. They launched a new Inspired by Gibson series. And what I mean by that is this. Remember all the original collection 2019 Gibsons? They now have an Epiphone counterpart to pretty much every single one, even the SGs with the vibrolas. So now you can get an Epiphone modern Les Paul for $600. You can get the SG Special for about $400. You can get the 50s and 60s Les Paul standards for about $600 or so. You can even get the Firebird if you want to. So if you really appreciate the Gibson designs, but you just can't quite afford it, this is going to be game changing. For me personally, I thought the Les Paul Modern was not worth it for the money, but now in this Epiphone format, it has me really curious of how good that guitar could be for $650. At this point in time, I can't see any photos of the back to see if they actually bothered to do the same sculpted heel joint or not. It's not looking like it though from that photo, so that kind of defeats the whole purpose of that. But it's looking like they get the same ebony fretboard with the asymmetrical neck, and you also get the in and out of phase with coil splits. But the next announcement that made me very interested is the new Muse series. So Muse, kind of like the band, it's meant to inspire you to play. It's basically just some fancy looking SGs and Les Pauls in 7 different color options. So you can look at them here. We've got a green metallic, there's a pearl white metallic, radio blue metallic, jet black metallic, scarlet red metallic, smoked almond metallic, and purple passion metallic. This one reminds me of the Guitar Center limited edition SG, so I'm wondering if they kind of played off of that for this. So if you wanted one of those, but at a 1/6 of the price, you can definitely check one of these out. Let me know what color interests you guys the most, because I'm tempted to pick one of these up. It would be between the Purple Passion Metallic, Wonderlust Green, or even the Smoked Almond I think would look good in person. And all the other color options also hold true here on the Les Paul models. However, I think the SGs actually look better than the Les Paul in this case. I don't know why, it's just SGs seem to work better with metallic finishes. And they're a little bit cheaper too. Looks like there's an Epiphone Uptown Cat ES semi-hollow guitar. I don't know enough about that to really comment, but it looks kind of cool. But the last one from the overseas Epiphone lineup is this Les Paul Classic. I'm not sure if this is a new model or if it's just a new finish, but wow, there's finally a Purple Burst Les Paul that you can buy straight off the shelf. I'm probably going to have to pick one of these things up because that is beautiful. But you can also get it in the more traditional colors in case you don't like the out there purple finish. And the last thing from Epiphone is they're bringing it back to the USA. They're doing a Casino and a Texan built in the USA factories, which is kind of interesting. So you got a Texan, which is an acoustic. In the video, they're saying that this is the first time that they've done it in like 40 some years. That's not exactly true. Because in 2009, Gibson actually did a limited edition run of an Epiphone Wilshire that was built at the custom shop. But I think what they were trying to say was it's the first time they've done an acoustic guitar within the USA in so many odd years. I think that's a huge stepping stone to them reviving the Epiphone brand in general. That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is they're trying to make it its own standalone brand that isn't just cheap knockoff import guitars of their higher end guitars. They're almost making an own identity for Epiphone, and that's really exciting. I would love to see more USA made vintage inspired Epiphones. And from Kramer, they're doing some more fun stuff. I don't know a lot about these guitars, but the snake-themed one is quite interesting. But it's just built for the shreddery type of guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy looking at those. So if you got gas for one of these, definitely contact me. Sometimes I can save you some money, at least the sales tax, off of these brand new guitar purchases. You can contact me at treytrogly@gmail.com. I get super discounts because I buy a crap ton load of new guitars for review and demo, and honestly I'm probably going to get one of each of all these new things, so maybe you want to pick up one of my slightly used demo models. But which model are you guys most interested in? What shocked you the most? Leave your answer down in the comment section below, and we will see you tomorrow for the Fender side of things. Take care.